Welcome, wrestling fans. Welcome to Curtain Jerkin. As always, I am your host, Jacob Grondy, reporting for the Main Event Marks YouTube channel. You can also check me out on Spotify. However you're listening to my voice, I appreciate it. As I'm checking the damn levels once again, you guys all know what I'm doing here. I'm looking at the levels. We're going to talk a lot about AEW. We're going to talk a little bit about WrestleMania. That's right, already coming up. They're going to do it in Sin City, Las Vegas, April 19th and 420, which is kind of cool, you know. Las Vegas, legal cannabis, and going to be on 420. So, I mean, I've been known to indulge in some cannabis and in pro wrestling at the same time. I used to enjoy that quite a bit. I've calmed down over the years, but man, waking up early, watching some Wrestle Kingdom, getting baked as shit at 6:30 in the morning with a cup of coffee, those are things that I look back in my life fondly. Maybe some of my happiest moments alone is when I'm smoking weed, watching pro wrestling, enjoying a cup of coffee. But I digress. WrestleMania's host city is going to be in Las Vegas. Are they going to use the Sphere? Are they going to, what are they going to do? I'm interested. But I'm also interested in AEW this week. We're going to break down Dynamite and Rampage. But before we do that, we're going to talk about Ethan Page getting released. Here is a guy that was on the uptick in Impact, and then he left, leaving behind his tag team partner Josh Alexander, who seemingly at this point looked like Ethan Page was going to be the bigger star. Josh Alexander stayed in Impact Wrestling and now is multiple-time World Heavyweight Champion. Ethan Page brought in during the pandemic, had a feud with Darby that was pretty good. They kind of rehashed what they were doing in Evolve with Ethan Page and Darby. Teamed with Scorpio Sky, Dan Lambert. So it's like two guys that can go with a mouthpiece. This tag team has legs. It never really moved anywhere. And then you kind of saw Ethan Page stall a little bit. He was doing stuff with Matt Hardy that didn't really make much sense to me, but you could tell he was trying. And now, really, I feel like Ethan Page's stock has dropped lower than Josh Alexander, which is not how it's supposed to be. AEW is the bigger company, so that kind of, doesn't bode well for, like, Ethan Page or Tony Khan's booking or something. I want to see Ethan Page, do his best, but possibly go back to TNA. I feel like now Josh Alexander is kind of up in that upper echelon main event picture for a little too long now. Maybe he can, have his tag team partner come back. They can go after the tag team titles again. I don't know. This is me brainstorming, fantasy booking, if you will. I couldn't think of that damn phrase. But let's jump into Dynamite and Rampage. Right after Dynamite was Rampage this week, and then there was no Collision. I posted a poll on Twitter saying, did you miss Collision? And I was expecting a bit of a 50-50, but over 100 people voted on this, and let's look at where it is right now. With 5 hours left, 121 votes. Get in there now if you're hearing this and you're in time. But 71% said they miss Collision this week. And, I don't know if I missed Collision. I did take in a lot of wrestling. But I do think it's weird that they're skipping Collision. You don't want people to get in the routine of skipping Collision. You don't want to get people in the routine of watching a really good WWE PLE and then tuning into UFC later that night and not thinking about Collision because they got NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, UFC, WWE, and that's the worst. Forget missing it or not missing it. Some people might forget about it after these playoffs. Who knows? But we kick off Dynamite with Tony Khan in Jacksonville. He is quote unquote technical difficulties kind of interrupt him, and it cuts to the Young Bucks, who edit the start to make it all about them with Young Bucks footage in the opener. I like what they're doing in story here, but I don't know if the Bucks are the guys to do this. I don't know if they have that charisma to carry a program of this magnitude within the sphere of AEW. This could turn real shitty real quick. I don't know, man. Like McMahon-Helmsley era kind of shit real quick. The Elite are in the back with Renee introducing Jack Perry. I just don't know if this is the guy as well. I don't know if this is the guy. I don't know if the Bucks are the guy. I don't know if Jack Perry is the guy. I don't really get... I mean, the Bucks have had great matches over the years, but I don't think Jack Perry's really had that great of matches. And as much as I'm weary of the Bucks, I'm that much more weary of Jack Perry being able to hold his own in a storyline like this. The Dapper Yapper out there at the end of the show, introducing the return of Kenny Omega. He returns home, is what they say. Maybe that's a shot at CM Punk, but he was in Winnipeg. Kenny Omega comes out at the end of Dynamite. Omega comes out in a suit. He was in the hospital, almost died, he said. Said he felt pathetic and felt like a coward. He was shaking, not out of fear, but out of withdrawals from wrestling. Amen, brother. And he's already been forgot about, colostomy bag or no colostomy bag. You're not done with Kenny Omega yet, he says. So I guess he's alluding to having a colostomy bag, which is a bag that holds your feces. My friend actually went through this exact same thing, and yeah, he was at the bar with the bag on him. The colostomy bag is no joke. He may be fired from the Elite, but he can't be fired from AEW because he's an EVP. And then Okada's music hits. And then we start thinking about 2016, 2017, the best matches of all time. We all remember the greatest series of matches between Okada and Omega, I would say ever. Some people say Steamboat and Flair, some people say a lot of things, but if you're not saying Okada Omega, in my opinion, you're incorrect. And Okada says that he's the best bout machine, and he always was, more or less. Jack Perry attacks him. Okada gets a chair. Omega ducks and holds his own for a little bit, hits a Snapdragon, but then holding his stomach right as we are going to hit the V trigger, Perry takes a chair and hits him in the gut, hits him in the bag maybe. Bucks come out. They hit the EVP trigger. Crowd disgusted. FTR's music comes on, and they chase away the Elite, keeping those jerks at bay. As Omega is being stretchered off, the Elite attack FTR in the back. I mean, if it's I love Okada, but if it's Jack Perry and the Bucks on one side and Omega and FTR on the other, I don't know if Okada is going to get me to sway to Omega's side. I think, honestly, man, having Okada, like, he looks like, I don't know, he looks like the Bucks and Jack Perry look like they're like in a middle school basketball team, and they're making them dress up because they have a game that night, and Okada's like the coach or something like that. He just is a foot taller than all of them. He can go more than all of them. I think you're kind of killing the legacy by, one, not bringing him in with a lot of heat, and two, kind of having him just kind of play background to Jack Perry's return. Like, who gives a fuck about Jack Perry's return when you got Okada and Omega in the ring, you got FTR and the Bucks, and we're all talking about Jack Perry doing damage? I don't know. Maybe I'm going to digress a little bit here. Swerve promo off the top. Said the Elite pulled a bitch move. The Elite send out Christian Cage and his cronies. They attack the champ. Nana tries to help, but it's a gosh darn numbers game at this point. And then they finally bring up Swerve, breaking into Nick Wayne's house. Finally, it needs to be said. And that's why Christian Cage has beef with the champion. Killswitch rips off a dread, rips a piece of his hair out, and they hold it up like it's a trophy. On Rampage, Swerve says that he won't be, he's pretty much going to be calling out Christian Cage on Dynamite. Sky Blue pre-recorded promo calling out Willow for Rampage. We'll talk more about that a little later. Willow in the back with Stokely. She accepts this challenge. Cassidy comes out and says that after Trent attacked Chuck and now Chuck will never wrestle again. That's sad. I don't know if that's true or not, but Chuck has been out of action for a long time, and Chuck did allude to not being cleared to wrestle, but being cleared to fight. So I don't know where this is going. Trent says, why are we making this about, Cassidy? He says pretty much Cassidy's always trying to make this about himself. This was about best friends. As people are holding him back, Don Callis comes out and talks to Orange Cassidy. Cassidy leaves with Callis. So what's going to happen there? I can't see Orange Cassidy joining forces with Don Callis, but I am interested to see what comes of this next week or in a few days. I'm recording this Monday afternoon, and we have Dynamite on Wednesday. Romero challenges O'Reilly to a match on Rampage, which was right after Dynamite. Kyle accepts and talks to Adam Copeland in the back for a little bit here. Two Canadians, meeting of the minds. New backstage interviewer here. Looking forward to seeing more of her. She's backstage with Deonna Purrazzo, who cuts a solid promo talking about being a Jersey girl, and you don't want to get in the bad side of a Jersey girl. Roosh video package. Good. Everything about Rush is good. I don't know why he isn't used more. I feel like they've been introducing this guy for like 2 years now. We know who Rush is. We watched Ring of Honor. We watched the Continental Classic. We know Rush is good. We want to see more of him. I feel like, you missed the boat with him in a Hangman Adam Page feud. I think he could have a good feud with Swerve. He could have a good feud with Danielson. He hits hard. He works snug. He's technical. He's from a pro wrestling family. I mean, strap a rocket to this motherfucker and let's see him go. I mean, Okada's just sitting there holding a title. So many guys in the back are just sitting holding titles, and Rush is here. And I think you could have feuds with all of them, good feuds with all of them. Saraya, and Harley Cameron. These ladies look good. I'm glad they showed them. Undisputed Kingdom. They're in the back with the new interviewer who, did she say her name was Renee? Is she another Renee? I don't know. I digress, but I'm going to rank every single one of these matches from worst to first. All 8 matches. And the worst one, Joe versus Isaiah Cassidy. Cassidy grabs a towel and starts mocking Joe. Gets tossed up in the air. As he comes down, he's screaming like a little girl. Flying crossbody. Joe walks away as he eats shit on the outside. Tons of shit. Muscle Buster 1, 2, 3. Joe wins. But Isaiah Cassidy was the highlight of this match. I would have to say his goofy ass stole the match from Joe, who was supposed to be being highlighted here, whooping his ass. And of course, this match, Joe whooped so much ass, it's ranked number 1, but all these matches were good. Jay White versus Dante Martin. Dante takes it to him early. Switchblade begins to control the pace, and every time Dante slips away, gets some room, starts to fly, but he only gets 2 counts. Blade Runner, 1, 2, 3. Jay White gets the victory. Jay White wins, slowly helps Dante up, raises his hand, and just as the crowd starts to believe he's a good guy, just as they start to clap, he hits another Blade Runner like a fucking jerk. And then number 6 here. This match, I was going to rank it number 1, but then they slowly won me over to where it now sits at 6. Doesn't crack the top 5, but sits at 6. Sky Blue versus Willow Nightingale, the main event of Rampage, which is kind of the main event of the whole evening. They go right at it, almost making it over the rail with a lariat. They had to kind of get a little help there. Shittiest chair shot ever as Sky Blue jumps off the railing. This was when I was like, okay, this is garbage. But then they turn the garbage into good garbage wrestling. Willow goes for a senton. No one home. She eats shit taken out of chair. Tacks get dumped into the ring. And Willow hits a huge fisherman suplex to Sky Blue onto the tacks. I thought this was the finish here. This looked nasty. This looked rough, but it was just a 2 count, believe it or not. That should have been the finish, I think, in my opinion. Willow just slams Sky Blue onto a chair and goes for a moonsault. No one home. There's a table set up on the outside. Sky Blue brings a barbed wire board and puts it on the table, and then just gets powerbombed through it. Willow Nightingale retains 1, 2, 3. Holy shit. They're just trying to kill Sky Blue in this match for no reason on a Rampage. Where the fuck is Julia Hart in all this? Is she not going to save her buddy? This match was not technically sound at all, but it became a spectacle, and that is part of what makes wrestling entertaining. So I had to rank it a little bit above those other two matches. But cracking the top 5, Mariah May, dressed as Toni Storm, with Toni Storm and Luther out ringside versus Serena Deeb. Serena in control, getting that pace the way she likes it, using the ropes to hit a neck breaker, missile dropkick from Mariah, huge knee, 1-2, no. Neither lady can put the other lady away. Deeb has a single leg crab locked in, and Toni Storm throws in the towel for her protege, and not letting Mariah May lose this one. Serena Deeb and Toni Storm at Double or Nothing here, looming over. Now that I'm reading it, I think I should have put Sky Blue and Willow in the top 5. Jericho and Shibata at number 4. Shibata's first ever no DQ match. Weapons come into play. Hockey pucks on the mat. Snug chops. Jericho throwing hockey pucks. Once they get put into a figure 4. He beams a hockey puck at Shibata to break free. Shibata hulks up while still in a trash can, uses the same can to hit a dropkick in the corner. Shibata nice and bloody here. From his nose, chest nice and red here from the battle here. They kind of have a kendo stick battle that kind of turns into a little bit of a lightsaber fight, setting up a table on the outside, but then Big Bill shows up and boots Shibata, and that allows Jericho to get the victory here. Backstage, Renee interviewing Big Bill on Rampage. He says that he wants to sit under the learning tree, and Jericho accepts him. He's going to sit under the learning tree. And honestly, now that I'm reading that, I think that Willow and Sky Blue should have been above that. So look at them just moving up the ranks, unofficially at 4th place, officially at 6th place in these rankings that I just kind of come up with in my head, and I hope you guys are enjoying them. Number 3, though, making the podium. Rocky Romero versus Kyle O'Reilly. Rocky diving, then goes to dive again, but Kyle catches him and turns it into an armbar on the floor. I thought that was pretty good. Chop battle. Sliced bread off the top. 1-2, no. Kyle says no. Teeing up Rocky. He countered, or tying up Rocky, not teeing up, tying him up. Rocky counters, Kyle counters, Rocky ends up rolling him up, 1-2, no. Again, 1-2, no. Rocky has the arm, gets rolled up, 1-2, 3. I like this fucking match. I like the dives turning into arm bars. I like the technical wrestling, and it's on the podium. This was good, but it wasn't second place good. Second place good was Claudio versus Brian Cage. Claudio cutting a promo, like picture-in-picture promo here. I thought that was kind of cool, getting in his car. He is a wrestler who, what did he say? He's the wrestler he has to be, not the wrestler that he wants to be, which I don't really know what he's saying. I mean, he's a pretty good wrestler. I don't really know where he's going with that. Brian Cage in his Tekken gear. Lariats and uppercuts all around. Giant swing into a sharpshooter, reaching for the ropes, gets brought into the middle. Cage taps out. Claudio gets the win. But number 1, Adam Copeland versus Buddy Matthews, starting off the show, goes to the floor, back in, Buddy in control, battle up top. Both men take apron bumps at the same damn time. Both men going for a running cross body. They both eat shit at the same time. Buddy hits a jackhammer. Goldberg may think that this wrestling is too silly, but Buddy Matthews is doing a better job at his finisher than he ever did. 1-2, no. Goes right into the crossface. So jackhammer, crossface, former WCW champions, seasoning all throughout this match. Spear, 1-2-3. Adam Copeland gets the win. And then he gets 2 chairs. Concerto attempt. Lights go out. Malachi shows up when the lights come on. He wants him to do it. Malachi's like, do it. Fuck my boy up. I don't give a shit. Egging him on. Lights go out again. They're both gone. What the fuck to make of this? I know that Adam Copeland and Malachi Black are going to have a great series of matches. Maybe on Collision if the playoffs ever end. And when do the playoffs end? Like late June? So, sometime, during the Olympics, we're going to see Malachi and Adam Copeland have a good match. But these are all good matches. I hope everyone can hear me well on this audio. And Kendrick won the rap battle. If you didn't know, fly high, I'm out.